Welcome to Marty Wong Chat. Tonight we do have HendoArt. I met her in the cosplay world. She does amazing cosplay, but she also knows lots of other stuff, psychology stuff. What's up, Hendo?
How's it going, man?
In the cosplay world, about what, 3 or 4 years ago, when suddenly everyone's making armors. You
I don't
remember?
know. I feel like when I joined the cosplay community, everybody was already doing armor. Started 5 years ago. How long have you been in like the cosplay community?
Over 10 years.
Oh shit, dude. What's it been like watching it transform?
Even when I first started, because social media wasn't that big, it was a lot of fun. Like there's no competition because there isn't one existing. There's no way to compare people regardless you want to or not.
I feel like it's changed even in like the 5 years that I've been doing it. The first time I cosplayed, I didn't know that people were going to want to take so many pictures or that they were going to ask about social media because I didn't actually have any the
Yeah,
first time that I cosplayed.
that's how it was back then for me. There was no such thing as Instagram didn't exist.
That's wild. Didn't really exist to me until people told me to get one.
Such a weird
It's
world.
like, oh, okay, let's do this. But can I ask you a question also
Yeah.
about being bilingual?
Okay,
This is
yeah.
something that my mom every once in a while when I was little. Do you think in English or in Chinese?
Oh, good questions. So this is something that depends on who I'm with and who I'm talking to. When I'm thinking in Chinese and around Chinese environments, I'm much more respecting for elders. There's a very much hierarchy situations. So it's really about knowing your place. If I'm thinking English, especially American English, it's more about individualism.
For me, it's more like, I mean, when I'm like switching between cultures, especially when I don't really talk to my mom anymore, but back when I knew her and we would visit like, the family that she came here with, or just kind of dealing more with Vietnamese culture in general. I
Mhm.
don't think I never experienced much shift in who I was as a person, but I absolutely shifted how I expressed myself to other people. To me, the way that I think of personality has a lot to do with your values,
Mhm.
your interests, and like your world perspective. So, like your philosophical perspective. Everybody has a different perspective on what personality is. So, to me, I guess maybe that's more of like an identity thing. My personality doesn't change too much across whatever culture or whatever group of people I'm in. I still feel the same things about what I'm experiencing, but my interaction is definitely super different depending on who I'm.
I want to ask you this. Like, I know there's people cosplay for a living and there's people cosplay for fun. Would it be discouraging for a guy to know that their social content will not do as well if they're not a female cosplayer?
It really depends on what you're using cosplay for, especially since I'm on the prop and host end of things. It's still mostly men. So I see the people who make the most money in cosplay that are in the prop side of things, almost 100% men, and they're
Mhm.
making a lot of money compared to some of the other things you can do versus like the modeling aspect of cosplay. Obviously, mostly female. They're
Mhm.
making way more money than a lot of men are going to be able to. I mean, it really depends on what you're looking for. Like, when I joined Defy for Prop Shop, they hadn't had much success finding women to host the show. You'll see a few people that are just fucking huge, like, Leon or Maul Cosplay, who's magnificent,
Mhm.
or
Mhm.
even some of these female cosplayers that do a lot of gender bends or like are more gender fluid. If you make it in the niche and you are like one of the 5 male cosplayers that people know about, it's great. But it can be hard to break through, I think, especially if you try and do what women do. I think it's always going to depend on what you want. If you're, a man that wants to be successful on Patreon or OnlyFans, it might be difficult to find the niche because I don't think that straight women especially consume that quite as much. But
Mhm.
you
Correct.
can find men that have success in some of those areas.
In many creative form that's for sale, right? Like let's say a movie, people can criticize film, but because cosplay is such an individual thing, it's hard to criticize it without seeming like an attack to the person.
I think it depends on these groups of people that have goals. If you go to a park and criticize the way that those people are playing basketball, they're not trying to be pro, like they're out there having fun.
But is there such thing as a pro cosplayer?
I think that we're starting to see it. Yeah. So for people that are looking for even like a more competitive side or, they're in these cosplay competitions, then of course the criticism makes
Hmm.
sense. So
Yes.
cosplay I think is starting to expand and diversify that way. So I think it's absolutely okay to criticize people sometimes if that's what they want though. If
Mm.
the person you're criticizing is just posting a picture of them having fun, I don't really see why you're taking the time to criticize them anyway. But if,
Mhm.
they posted in, like these group forums for like, "Oh, this is how my gesture is going so far. What do you think? What can I improve on?" And it's clear that they're trying to up their
As
game or
per
become more
Mhm.
professional, that's an appropriate time for it. It's like our careers, especially as like freelance content creators, change the same way that we do. If 10 years ago cosplay is what you're into, because when you're younger, also like you're more drawn to the things you do. It's like tangible stuff. It's like I like going to concerts and I like going to
Mm.
conventions and I like dressing up. But as you get older and it starts to become more about your identity and who you are, you kind of want your career to develop with you or find ways to like incorporate it.
Mhm.
So I seeing you diversify all the ways you kind of express what you're doing and like open up a little more, and I think that's like a move. I think that's a good way to go about it.
'Cause, like, I still have that struggle, right? Every few weeks, I'm like, "Maybe I should go back to a desk job, like a 9 to 5," but then I remember how much I hated it, and,
Yeah.
like, I'm so happy creating stuff. I'm definitely not making as much money. I'm definitely do not have more free time. Like, I always tell people, being a content creator is not an easy way out. In fact, it is the harder way in.
Yeah.
So
You just trade off your pros and cons. Like, I miss the routine and the reliability of a 9 to 5 and the
Mhm.
consistent paycheck.
Mhm,
It
mhm.
felt a lot less reliant on me,
Mhm.
but yeah,
And
I'm
weekends are
just
actually
happy with free
weekends.
time. Yeah, but I'm much happier doing what I like, so but we're gonna figure it out, man.
Yeah, well, hopefully we'll make it work. Now, what about for the lead content creator in your view? What is their career like life like? What does that looks like?
Some sex work, I think it's more about getting a bunch of success in a limited amount of time. So really fucking making bank for a little while
Hmm.
before you kind of lose that popularity, especially in the porn industry, the people I know who do that. If you become a well-known porn actress or actor, you have a few years to really cash in on that and cash in like smart and hard on it
Mm.
because it's not going to last forever. That's just kind of how it is. We're seeing a diversity in what lewd is too, which I think is dope because one of my favorite like lewd creators is Jenna, who
Mm.
does it in such a unique way. It is in such a like teasing anime waifu sort of way
Hmm.
where she'd be fully clothed but like grabbing her thighs. And
Hmm.
it's such a like I think clear understanding of what intimacy is and what
Hmm.
is being said without giving it all away in some
Mm, mm,
aspects.
mm.
I've seen a lot more creativity in the lewd scene in that way, I guess.
Where do you see the cosplay industry going?
I think that it's going to diversify. I'm always going to think of it in a similar way as the acting field. So I
Hmm.
think you're just going to see it get really diverse. So it's going to be people focus on cons, people focus on TikTok, people focus on YouTube, people focus on lewds, people focus on like epic modeling. I think that we're going to see it become so big that it diversifies into smaller subsects that people talk about more so. Patreon forever changed the face of cosplay by giving creators a way to make money on their own
Hmm.
easily. And, with OnlyFans, I can't imagine what's next, probably a video format of both of those things. Patreon gives the creator the control, OnlyFans gives the creator the control. YouTube still doesn't give the creator control over that. Like you can't set tiers, you can't charge your fans directly. And same with Twitch. Twitch is a little bit better. It's at least more transparent about it, but I feel
Mm.
like some type of video platform that gives creators access to charge their fans directly is going to be the next like important milestone. Just like a little more like OnlyFans or Patreon, but I mean, OnlyFans obviously has more of a stigma of sex work or like
Hmm.
adult content in general or lewd work, whatever.
Hmm.
Whereas Patreon is a little more diversified now. I think it started that way and then it became more diverse, which is great. But
Hmm.
video is a difficult thing to consume in the same way, especially off of your mobile device. But
Hmm.
TikTok is built around using other types of audio. The audio like system of that is difficult. So
Hmm.
literally doing something that's just creators having complete control over videos that they charge like their fans to see, I think would be a
Interesting.
big addition to the community. It might be the only thing that takes down things like YouTube and TikTok. You grow a channel, especially on YouTube, more the more content you produce. Having all of the content in one place will help expose an audience to you because if they like one type of thing you do, it'll try and suggest more of other things that like you do, along
Hmm.
with some of the same. Just based on talking to other YouTubers who also either tried to diversify.
Hmm.
The only people I know who have really done that are people whose channels have gotten over like a million,
Huge
and
big
then
people.
like
Yeah.
a little one.
Yeah.
We're not there yet.
Well, thank you so much, everyone, for watching. And of course, Hendo, thanks for joining. And have a great night, guys.